and pure on paper, but let's dive into the Land of Dawn for game number 2 between RRQ Hoshi and BIGETRON. Match point if BIGETRON Alpha want to come back in this series.
It's going to be a rough road for them, man. I mean, again, Hanabi against Claude. We saw this early on. Clay, though, with definitely more mid-control on this Lilia. Way better clear. Marky is going to win against Skylar early, right? Look at this damage. Look at the poke as well with the shield. But as Skylar continues to level up and as he continues to use the Avarice with his hits on to wow, what? Moreno finds first blood with a very cheeky rotation from Veer No Cure on his signature pick with a Petrify early on. That's first blood over to BTR. So already a difference here in game 2.
They're definitely adapting to the mistakes that they made from game number 1, right? Marky definitely going to respect that level 4 power spike from Skylar. And with the addition of Key to be able to help zone the members away from that gold lane, it is going to help Hanabi a paramount mount.
Well, BIGETRON Alpha has such a great start already. If they can just maintain this, they're on route to a pretty decisive victory. 2 Purifies on Moreno, and he will allow them to avoid getting the pick-off gameplay to get to them. And Marky, with the Aegis, will be able to survive a lot more of these pick-off attempts. And actually, if she doesn't get taken out directly, the Hanabi, as we can see, can be outputting a lot of damage. So now it seems like the shoe is on the other foot. BIGETRON Alpha have a lot of answers to any solution that RRQ Hoshi can use. RRQ only, I mean, not Hoshi. They can use against that Hanabi pick.
We'll see what happens here. Already a lot of rotations from BIGETRON Alpha, that mid lane presence, even though that they are losing out in the trades in that mid side in terms of that wave clear, right? But right now,
Good eye for an eye, forces Lemon to flicker out of his Earth Shatter. Now, it's going to be Lemon with the Onward and the Earth Shatter. Key able to just sidestep away from that one. Meanwhile, top side, you can already see the rotation from Vin. RRQ with a very similar response to the first turtle fight, and BIGETRON also with a little adjustment already, with Hanabi playing way safer. Veer No Cure with eye for an eye, once again able to back off, but will lose a whole lot of HP. With Feather Airstrike popped in, Clay already popping in black shoes, and that's the Petrify, that's the lockdown. Albert falling to the hands of Moreno, and Max top side though, not changing that much. Lemon trying to go for some more, finds a kill onto Moreno, but it's still going to be traded back. Veer No Cure clears the wave as well.
and on the flip side there, Marky was actually able to buy a lot of time.
Yes.
He was taken down eventually, but come on, it was 2v1. The Claude was diving in. There was a Kadita as well. That's the best he could have done, but that actually split the focus from RRQ Hoshi, and BIGETRON Alpha were able to get a bit of an edge in that turtle fight.
In a way, Lemon was still able to trade 1-for-1, so very impressive from him as well. But if you look at the talent prediction, it's a very, very big RRQ sandwich with a lot of BIGETRONs in the middle. Only me and Momo-chan, our fellow Indonesian caster, voting for RRQ, and it's not difficult to see why. Draft-wise, it does seem like they don't really have any real answers, but looking at how they're playing so far, putting a lot of emphasis onto Marky in the gold lane, this is shutting down BIGETRON's win condition.
Oh, immobilized down there. Marky will be able to put some damage down with the Higa and Bana, but will not be able to finish Skylar off. That's the BMI popped in. Key with the Purify. Already forcing that out. Good response from RRQ to BIGETRON Alpha's aggression up in the gold lane. They clear out the mid lane. And noticing that Moreno has been missing, they might actually be able to punish on the turret shield mid.
I'm actually surprised with the talent prediction. Sorry, while you were talking, I was thinking about it.
Whoa.
It actually does seem like RRQ will have the more solid draft. I mean, the reason why I went for BIGETRON Alpha is because I like the risk that they're going for.
Same.
I want to see if it's actually going to work, the Hanabi and the Matilda, but as you can see here, it's actually working quite well. BIGETRON Alpha, they do have a little bit more map pressure up until this point. The Hanabi is going to be center focus, but even with the Blazing Duet that Skylar can put onto Marky, he doesn't get taken down. So it's going to need a little bit more than that 1v1, a little bit more wave manipulation and the resource allocation that requires Vin to roam to that top side.
Oh, that was Aegis popped in. Marky this time brought the Aegis. Vin is going to be punished down. Oh, wow. What a pick. Again, the Petrify wasn't used because Vin noticed the Aegis and he had to fall back here in the mid lane. The Onward gets popped in and Max is able to wild charge away on that Grok jungle. Top side going to be sieged down by Marky as Skylar tries desperately to defend but will be forced to back away with the Turtle now with more pressure on the side of BIGETRON Alpha. Key's going to try to open up the map now as Clay and Skylar run him down. Key opening up the map a whole lot. Lemon going to be able to find the Earth Shadow, but Max finds the Retribution now. Lemon flickering out, dealing a whole lot of damage, even out to Marky. Lemon is out damaging BIGETRON Alpha. Lemon still in the midst of it all, dealing so much. Skylar comes back in to save the day, and RRQ on the back of Lemon have turned the turtle fight around.
Wow, we said BIGETRON was doing a lot of damage through Hanabi, but maybe the reason why it was so difficult for RRQ to win these prolonged fights in game number 1 is the Edith, man. That's a lot of damage, and just like that, Albert has secured the orange buff as well. This is the swing and momentum RRQ was looking for, and out of everyone's expectations, it comes from the AXP lane.
Okay, Lemon now chunked a bit, Siege down below, taking the tier 1 down. And we do have an emblem check here in the 6th minute, Arashi.
Nothing too crazy here, but Clay wants to go for the mystery shop. He needs to try and get the items earlier to shut down the pressure coming in from Moreno on the Barca. Of course, with the Magic Worship on him as well as Vin, that's a lot of damage that all the Squishy members need to keep in mind. So it seems like RRQ's approach is to try and shut down the trouble lanes, right? The mid and gold lane. They're just trying to make sure that they have enough pressure to not allow them to farm up and scale well into the late game.
Yeah, I think it's not fair that Edith goes for a tank emblem and still is able to sustain through all that damage and plus deals enough damage like an MM would. That's a little broken here. Right now, Vin looking for something.
Ooh, with the rough waves, defensively is able to escape. Marky still is in the mid lane. Lemon doesn't have the flicker, so Marky can still play kind of out of position. They don't really have an engage tool. Oh wait, Fear No Cure getting taken really low. Ooh, in the bottom side, Skylar has been farming like a beast in both games here. Level 9, even while he was quite behind early on, he's still able to find so much of those resources, and they actually go back in. Fear No Cure. Ooh, very close. Pops in the Blazing Duet just for safety.
Still a very good back and forth from both these teams, but BIGETRON Alpha has been very good at denying RRQ what they're good at. Like, Vin has not been able to get any pickoffs, and Max now will be zoned away though.
Okay, Max finding a kill back there with the wild charge. Lemon gonna be brought back to the team right now as he finds the onward. Doesn't pop in the ultimate just yet as Moreno was able to finish him off. BIGETRON Alpha taking a gold lead back as Max jumps in onto the purple buff, stealing it away with the Retribution as Albert has already used his for the turtle. That's the wall coming in. Skylar zoned away by Max, but will still be able to make his way into that mid lane, dealing a whole lot, but having the BMI back in place. Marky trying to just poke that turret down even without minions, grabbing it just like you guys can grab the discount code 26,000 IDR with the QR code.
You can see now that Marky is starting to pop off a little bit better than he did in game number 1, right? One of the reasons why is that he opted for the Aegis spell this time around, and this Aegis acts basically as a purify, but in addition to be able to give shielding to your teammates as well. So huge adaptation coming in from BIGETRON Alpha here, as now we can take a look at the in-game items in the 9th minute.
Trojan side and a Demon Hunter sword for the Hanabi. A lot of damage and a lot of utility if BIGETRON Alpha wants to catch them mid-rotation for a wild charge or a feathered airstrike or even an Electro final blow petrify combo. But for the side of RRQ, having the Ice Queen's wand onto Clay will mean that they can kite back in a similar fashion, and with the fact that Skylar has already both his main power spike items, also means that RRQ has a good chance of winning out here. I think it depends on if Finn can actually get value play, but Fear will not be able to 1v2.
Good stun there, getting the crowd to hold their breath, but with that much HP and with a Purify, he's able to get out. Skylar dishes out the damage, and Fear is dead.
Gets taken out. It's a 1v2 situation, so easier said than done. But I think BIGETRON still are doing so well at just denying RRQ the pickoff that they want, because Vin has been very proactive, trying to threaten away or bait out battle spells, but every time he goes in, he gets punished for it extremely. The only real issue here is that if they keep punishing Vin and no one else, later on they're gonna be in trouble.
Right now, it seems like there is a huge mobility MM diff, but look at this.
Black Shoes popped in, wild charge as well. Clay super low, but Lemon's gonna be caught with the circling eagle, bringing it back. Vin onto the back line, not able to fight it just yet. Good spacing by Marky as it clears out the mid lane. Top side tier 2 taken down by Skylar earlier. But now it's BIGETRON Alpha on the Lord. Albert's still alive, so he still has a way to get in to try to contest with Skylar and Clay coming back into it.
Goes for it, though it might be a bit too dangerous as
no.
Clay goes in aggressively. Vin as
Wow.
well. Ooh.
Desperate play, did not work out for Vin, as now the Feather Airstrike is able to zone Albert and Clay away. The Lord is merely
Marky?
just a bait. Albert with a taunt, immobilized down. The Appraiser's Wrath gets a lot of HP back, but Fear No Cure cuts their rotation, moves back, and it might just be a free Lord over to BTR. Tier 1 in the mid lane, it's never free. RRQ are able to trade constantly.
Yeah, they still have something in return for what BIGETRON Alpha gets, right? I mean, at this point, Claude has just been insane. The mobility that he has, especially with the BMI, able to go to the top side and just munch on those turrets. It's been huge for RRQ in particular. And you can see how active he is. Even looking at the players' gold here by UBS Gold, Skylar #1 on the charts. But even though Marky has a bit of a mobility dip, he's not falling too far behind either.
But this is the question. This is the problem here. Skylar has the most gold in the game right now, and we're not seeing any Wind of Natures. We're not seeing a Winter Truncheon being built by Marino either. So later on, we have to see if Skylar can find even any realistic window of opportunity. Because if he can, there isn't really any itemization solutions being made by BIGETRON Alpha.
Even, like, just look at the items just now. We saw steel leg plates get picked up by Skylar early on, but not a steel leg plates by Marky, right? So Marky not respecting damage, but still getting out. Lemon with a bit of a miscalculation himself. The Circling Eagle comes in. Marky with the egg is still trying to kite away right now as he pops in. The Higanbana. Marky is down. RRQ have found the marksman that gave them so many trouble. Vin still looking for an opening again with the conceal. Doesn't find it. Good read by BIGETRON Alpha. Almost a disaster, but they're able to stop it from happening.
Wow, that was Lemon just going in all the way towards Marky, and he could not deal with it. This is the issue. You can deny crowd control, but you can't really maneuver around when you're a Hanabi, and Lemon is completely abusing that. Just when we thought that BIGETRON Alpha has the control and has turned things around. Now with Marky just spawning, RRQ lost that window of numbers advantage, but look at how aggressively Skylar is just basic attacking up front against BIGETRON Alpha.
I gotta say, I love this game, right? It's going so back and forth constantly, but the problem is, even when it goes back and forth, it seems like RRQ Hoshi have a better hold in the macro department. They're able to control the waves a little bit better, I feel, because of the Claude. But I'm not really sure what's going to happen here. Right now, it seems like RRQ Hoshi, they're going to put some attention here in the bottom side. They're going to continue to look for more objectives, for more map control. But the damage dealt, like you mentioned, Arashi and Miracle, man, Marky, even though he has that damage, they need to respect the damage output from RRQ as well. He needs to start to build defensive.
They do, right? Marky, if he goes Glass Cannon, the Aegis can only help him for so long. At one point, there has to be some burst. Even the Appraiser's Wrath that can get through to that super easily. We saw that. It was just Albert and Lemon who dove in, and Marky was not able to kite away. Here, Key with Guiding Wind, good reaction time. Wow.
That's a Purifier from Key that just nullifies all that burst potential, and now Lemon has an Athena as well, so the better airstrikes won't be that big of an issue. And the question was the late game, right? But the RRQ, they have a Lilia as well. That is AoE and still technically DPS, so push comes to shove. This late game is still very, very even. It all comes down to the setups. And in that department, like I mentioned, RRQ seems to be just one step ahead, even though they seem to be in weird positions.
Skylar is down below. That's why they are looking for the fight. Lemon has rotated back into the team fight right now. He's going to be put into that Earth Shatter with the onward. Key still soaking a whole lot of damage with the Guiding Wind. Going to be able to escape for now, but that's going to be the backline targeted down by Vin, baiting a whole lot of time. The Feather Airstrike was even popped in. Vin has done wonders for RRQ here up against BIGETRON Alpha, baiting their vision, distracting in the back, just to force that fight and to isolate Key. And they have done it. RRQ reclaim what is theirs, the position on the Lord. Max, the Power of Nature, looking for an opening, but will not be able to find it. Wild Charge defensively will mean that they will concede the Enhanced Lord.
Albert gonna be able to get that Lord here away from BIGETRON Alpha with a perfect setup with the way that they were able to bait out the resources coming in from BIGETRON Alpha was beautiful. And now RRQ Hoshi, they just need to play it patiently, right? I mean, Clay now already has a Divine Glaive, gonna be able to dish out the overtime damage as well as Vin as well. And this is when it starts to get scary, especially for Marky. They're relying so much on the damage by Marky, but he's always the one to be able to get picked off first or either zoned away.
He is the main target for RRQ, so it's not any surprise. And Lilia, play on the Lilia without the Divine Glaive was already doing a lot of damage. And here's the issue. When the game evolves around the neutral objectives, the team that can fight in the cramped spaces of the jungle, like RRQ's composition right now, they have an inherent advantage because BIGETRON are going to be forced to come together for a huge Battle of the Ocean, for a blazing duet, for anything as they go in right here onto Max.
Good guiding win, bringing Max back. Clay, whoa, taken super low there by Marky, as he's still able to dish out the damage. Remember, 1, 2, and 5, but it is a late game Hanabi. They will be able to clear this out unless RRQ find a dive or a pick onto Marky.
Yeah, they have really good high ground, right? With the Feather Airstrike coming in from Moreno and the Ricochet basic attack from Marky, it's going to be a little bit more difficult if they can't find a good initiation. And you can see Max there trying to look for something on the board, trying to even just get his buff. But that's not going to happen with how much damage RRQ Hoshi is already dealing onto BIGETRON as well.
Oof. The range here is still the main problem. Look at that one Feathered Airstrike ball onto Skylar, chunking him out. He needs to find some solutions for that. But that is the only advantage. So if RRQ can close distance, and they have all the tools available, by the way, control, vision, everything favors RRQ. If they can use this to ensure that they don't get kited away, they don't get kept at arm's length by BIGETRON Alpha, they have a chance to just dive on, surprise Marky yet again. If you take a look at the items, the Wind of Nature has been purchased, but no magical solutions just yet. So Clay is the one that's going to be relied on to try and burst him down.
Oh, it's so risky, right? I mean, Hanabi only has the Wind of Nature. But what about the damage coming in from the Kadita? What about the damage coming in from Edith?
Right, true.
If she mispositions?
It's very scary, right? I mean, the magic damage itself, but I guess with the DHS and with the nature, aside from just the physical, being immune to the physical damage, oh, Fear No Cure with a good check. Petrify, though, still connecting. That's the damage coming in. Fear!
Oh.
A misstep, just a slight misstep. He did not use the final blow instantly, and he probably regrets it. 10 seconds for the Lord to spawn. It could not have been better timing for RRQ, as they'll be able to clear out the topside wave and take full control of the next Lord that they're waiting for right now. I think they might just be waiting for the evolved version, but no, Fredrin, Albert's just going for it.
I mean, Skylar's looking very confident. He did pick up a defensive item finally. The Athena shield is actually secured by him. That was the main deterrent for him to go in with a blazing duet. He was fearing the burst damage coming in from, of course, Moreno with the Feather Airstrike, but that can actually now be kind of nullified with the Athena shield that he just bought.
Essentially a free Lord for the RRQ. And with that, I really thought that the ideal, right, the best outcome for RRQ is not just getting the Lord, it's baiting BIGETRON Alpha out of their base. BIGETRON knows that, which is why they don't seem too bad, too bothered, too sad letting go that Lord, because they know that they have a late game carry in the late game. They have the Farsa for the high ground as well, and if RRQ doesn't do anything drastic, they will not be able to crack open the base. But if they do, they're also opening up themselves to mistakes that they can make during the execution of a turret dive. So RRQ have a lot of options to play around with here. They're probably going to try and manage the waves and get it to all push at the same time. And look at Lemon, is taking a lot of damage only from the bouncing shuriken.
Yeah, RRQ playing very sneaky at this point. They were trying to bait the Benedetta in that top side, but right now all three lanes are crashing, and it's gonna start here in the top side.
Oh, Marky's gonna be engaged on the rough waves as well. No magic defense for Marky, and that is what happens. Finn is able to burst the marksman down with no damage dealer, with a Feather Airstrike popped in earlier. Max is gonna fall before that. He gets a wild charge onto 2. BIGETRON Alpha still able to defend just for a bit, but with Fear No Cure knocked up, that's a double for Clay. Feather Airstrike once again onto Albert, taking immortality down, but now with a blazing duet, he comes out with a guiding win. It's RRQ with a clean sweep, 2-0.
2-0. I mean, Today is a day of history. Today is a day that proves that there's a reason why these statistics matter. Once again, RRQ Hoshi unbeatable against BIGETRON Alpha. And unfortunately, what Lemon said still proves true. BIGETRON Alpha, they changed their entire staff, coaching staff. They even put in new people into their roster, but unfortunately,